Hi there, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you might be joining us from in the world today. My name is Meg Alexander. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am incredibly honored and excited to get to host another Power to Fly Chat and Learn virtual event. Today, we're going to be talking and having a small cafecito with Yelp Engineering. We're going to learn all about Yelp's resume review and their coding challenges. Now, as we go into today's event, I just want to say hello and welcome to everybody who might just now be joining us. You are coming into our Chat and Learn event for today, and I am incredibly excited to get started with all of you. Now, as we go through, I just want to real quick flash our code of conduct. So if we can get our next slide. This looks like a big scary wall of legalese, but truly what it boils down to is just don't act like a jerk, okay? As long as we operate from a place of kindness and respect, it's pretty hard to go wrong from there. But if you've got further questions, you can always DM me. You can DM me, Meg Alexander, in Zoom, or you can always write to our email inbox, which is hi@powertofly.com. Next slide, please. Now, I'm incredibly excited to welcome all of you today. And if today is your first event with Power to Fly, then welcome. Now, the love is no less real for my frequent flyers. So thank you all so much for chiming in and for joining us today. We are absolutely honored that you chose to spend time with Yelp and Power to Fly today. Now, the big thing to know about our virtual events is participation. You are welcome to do that in a number of different ways. My favorite way, obviously, is to turn your camera on, share your smiling, maskless faces with us safely today. But truly, y'all, there's no need to be Instagram perfect, okay? Just because I got real fancy and actually washed my hair today does not mean that you can't show up here with your 3-day messy buns, your bathrobes, your furry coworkers. No matter what it is, we don't stand on ceremony. We just want to meet you where you are so that we can learn together. Now, if you do want to participate, but you don't want to do so on camera, that's fine. I totally understand. And in fact, I'm going to encourage y'all to jump in and chime in the chat while we go. That's your other option. I'm always really eager to see how far our global audience spreads. So please feel free to let us know where you're joining from. I'm coming to you from Toledo, Ohio. This is land that belonged to the Fox, Kickapoo, and Potawatomi tribes in my area. So please feel free to tell us or share it with us where you're located and if you know whose land you're on. Now, if you do chime on into that chat, please feel free to ask questions. Just a lot of people share like LinkedIn stuff, all kinds of things like that. That is awesome. Just make sure we understand this is a public event, so we practice good digital hygiene and be careful with the links that we're sharing. All right, now the last thing I want to highlight for y'all is that we are recording as well as live streaming to YouTube today. YouTube. And what this means for you is you don't have to take notes. You get to relax, kick back, enjoy the conversations that you're about to hear, and not worry if you miss a link that's shared or a resource that's listed, okay? Now, what's going to happen is everybody that registered for today's event is going to get an email from Power to Fly. It'll probably be sometime next week. And that email is going to have a link to where you can rewatch this recording. So I very much recommend that you check that out. Don't forget to, we also have a huge library of our past recorded chats are available on our YouTube channel. We're going to be sharing links for this as we go. So I very much recommend you check out our YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. There's some of our greatest hits are there. But don't forget about the website. That is where the entire repository, all of our content lives. It is all free, and we want to put it in your hands, y'all. Let's see who we've got. Carolina is calling from Mexico. We've got Justin in Maine. We've got Maureen in Toronto. Mahesh is in Mumbai. Chandra's in Garland, Texas. Indianapolis, Chihuahua, Mexico. Let's see, Bay Area, Coventry, Rhode Island. Hamad in Ottawa, Canada. Morelos, Mexico. Justin is in the land of the Wabanaki. Thank you for sharing that, Justin. I'd love to see it. Oh, let's see, Guanajuato, Mexico. Fremont, California. Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Raul. All right, super excited to welcome all of y'all today. Now, next slide, please. As we go through, we are obviously here today on behalf of Yelp. So if there's anything that kind of pricks your interest or makes you more curious about Yelp, I very much recommend you check out their company page, which is what you're looking at right now. If anything that we talk about today interests you and you want to learn more about Yelp, I recommend you check out this page, click that pink button that says follow, And that way you can stay up to date on things that are happening with Yelp. You don't miss new roles when they post them, and you don't miss out on events like this. Now, if you want extra tips on how this page can help you in your job search, hang around till the end of today's event, and we'll share some more tips with you about how Power to Fly can help you in your job search to work a little smarter instead of harder. Now, very excited to turn the floor over to the Yelp team. But before I do that, I just want to real quick here give you a preview. Where did it go? Sorry, y'all. I opened all of my docs at once, and that's what I get for trying to be ahead of the game. There we go. All right, so I'm very excited to bring up to the stage their own Tenzin. Tenzin is going to be kind of running the show here when I'm not on stage. So hold on here. Sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. I lost my sheet. All right, let's go into on here. There's my goal. All right. So as we go into, we're going to talk a little bit about what is Yelp. So for that, I'm going to turn the floor over to the Yelp team. See, it looks like Fernando is who I'm turning over to today.
Yep.
There's Fernando. There you are. All right, let me center you on stage for everybody.
Got it. No pressure. I feel like I've been on a stage in a while, so this is fun and exciting at the same time. Thanks for having me, and happy to kick us off here. My name is Fernando Fernandez. I was born and raised in the Bronx. Next slide. I'll give a quick introduction of myself before I talk a little about my youth journey, but hola, soy Fernando. I graduated from UPenn in 2018 with a dual degree focused on international studies and business, and specifically the Huntsman program, so that was a coordinated dual degree. Outside of that, I'm a semi-professional Latin dancer. I danced salsa and bachata for years at university, as well as after. It's a passion of mine. I love it through and through. And I'm a self-proclaimed runner. Just finished my first marathon, maybe doing another one. We're still deciding that. Professionally, I worked in investment banking at Deutsche Bank for 2 years before I joined Yelp, now 5 years ago, almost to the day. And I've also been recently awarded the 30 Under 30 Next Gen Collective Award. And now to what we're here for, life at Yelp. My life here has been a whirlwind, and I think it's been exciting. 5 years in now, I've been on 2 separate teams, both business operations and strategy, which I was recruited into, and then now product. Specifically in product, I've been focusing on a Yelp Elites, so that's our power users who write the most reviews and contribute the most media, and focus on how we can get them to contribute more. And outside of that professional space, I focus on our Somos Yelp board. So it's one of our Latinx ERGs. And in the space of admitting what ERGs are and acronyms, ERGs are employee resource groups. These are groups that exist at Yelp to kind of promote community, and these can be different ways and different venues. We have 21 around the company, from Native, Awesome Women at Yelp, Yelp Moms, Yelders, you name it, we've got it. And I think it's a way for us to start building that community in different aspects and different forums that people really do relate to. Next slide, please. Going over quickly kind of what is Yelp and what we are here for. Yelp was founded in 2004 by our current CEO, Jeremy Stoppelman and Russell Simons. And how we make money is basically we're focused on businesses who actually advertise on Yelp, and they contribute most of our annual revenue. And users who come to Yelp come to find businesses and leave reviews about their experiences. So if you go to Yelp to find your nearest restaurant, your nearest plumber, anything you can say, we probably got it. And it's exciting to have that kind of repertoire of reviews and contributions. So thank you for engineering and product at Yelp. We're about 1,000 plus strong. And I think what makes us unique is really the consistent communication between all the teams, right? We're one company, one product. So I think you really have to keep talking to one another, really have to kind of bounce your ideas, understand the different pieces in order to have success. I, as a product manager, write the product execution plans, or PEPs, and our engineers consult, execute that vision as well. And then I think the last thing I'll kind of talk on here is that our large vision for the 3-year and 5-year plan is driven by product leadership, but we as PMs are invited to really establish and say, hey, how do we get us to this large goal of, doubling, tripling annual revenue, or kind of changing these North Star metrics? Next slide. So after 5 years, I think I asked myself this question: what keeps life interesting, and what's kept me here so long? I think one, it's the forward-thinking work we get to do. I remember when I started in BizOps, it was very focused on marketing, and I think being kind of many consultants, what I call it, in the company, from marketing to the contributions team to local sales, anything the company's worked on, they come to us at BizOps to really understand and say, hey, what do you think of this? Does this work? Does this have legs to stand on? What's the data look like? And now being in product, I think it's really focusing on, hey, what reviews can we get with media? How is the AI world shifting for us to be thinking about that? And then what's the future of our work look like as a whole? Whether or not we need to stand out and what does it take for us to be competitive in this space. I think that idea for us to really be able to say, hey, I'm looking at it, not just for the next 3 months, but also the next year, which is what we're doing now for planning, I think is super exciting and a challenge whatsoever that I think every PM should hopefully want to do for their job. Aside from just the work, I think Yelp talks about culture, and I really think you'll see it today in the people, but I think it's the people that surround me that get me the most excited. My coworkers are my coworkers, but they're not just that. Right? They push me, they debate me. I won't say we always agree on the projects that I do or the work that we get done. But I think that's what makes it great, right? I don't want everybody to agree with me. I want people to push me to understanding to, hey, does this make sense? Are you thinking about it this way? Did you think about this other question or reason why this could be happening? Outside of that, people debate you and kind of take the devil's advocate side of it. People have opened up their homes to me. I've slept in somebody's home after meeting them for 2 weeks at Yelp because I was traveling to London. They support you. I know right before my marathon, everybody wrote to me, kind of wishing me all the congrats. And lastly, I think you have managers and coworkers who can serve as career coaches and supporters through and through. These people are here to serve you, to help you, to love you. And I think Yelp promotes just that. So that's what's kept me here for 5 years and super excited to have gotten the time. Thanks, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Fernando. Very, very happy to have gotten a little peek inside who you are. I'm always incredibly jealous of people who have the coordination and the rhythm necessary to actually dance. I am incredibly A4. So I very, very much think that is so super cool. And I love that you are kind of integrating some of your hobbies and your interests into your daily work. I like that it recharges and kind of refuels you. You can hear it when you talk about it. So I think that's really awesome. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
All right. All right, now we're going to talk to Lucia Cantu-Miller. Lucia, before you tell us a little bit more about onboarding experience, would you like to introduce yourself to the group, please?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Lucia Cantomiller. I'll be talking about my Yelp onboarding experience, but before that, I'm going to talk a bit about me just so that you can get to know me. So, I'm Mexican. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. And as you might have guessed, I do speak English, but my native language is Spanish. I got my degree in computer science at Tec de Monterrey. And while I was getting my degree, I started first working as a front-end developer, and then I transitioned as a full-stack developer in a really small startup company. And then around a bit over a year and a half ago, joining Yelp wasn't actually in my plans. I got the opportunity and I was nervous at first and taking it because of the language barrier. But I quickly came to realize that, as Fernando said, people at Yelp are very loving and caring, and they are always very understanding. So every time I struggle to come up with a word or mispronounce something, people don't actually care. So if you're like me and this language barrier is something that's probably keeping you from applying, don't be like, take the chance, take the opportunity. I promise it's worth it, and you're gonna be fine. And talking about furry co-workers, a small fun fact about myself is that I have a small dog named Mia, and she also loves Yelp because every time she listens that I'm gonna be joining a meeting, she jumps on my lap and stays with me for the whole meeting. And well, and this is just a bit about myself, and now we can jump into what my onboarding experience was like. So the onboarding process, it's very straightforward. It's very four simple steps, which the first step would be to get your laptop in the mail, which for me, this one was the hardest step of all because I was one of the first few people to be joining Yelp from Mexico. So all of this process was not only new for me, but also for Yelp. So I had to work with Yelp and see how we were gonna make things work. And eventually I got my laptop. I set it up with help of the IT team, and I was set up for the next part of my onboarding process, which this would be step number two, which is meeting your team and your mentor. So in the first weeks, I got to meet my whole team, do some one-on-ones to get to know each one in my team, and my manager did assign me a mentor. If you see the person that's just right beside me in the picture, she was my mentor and she was the one in charge of guiding me through step number 3, which is basically completing your trainings and getting your first few tickets. And I know how it might sound, and we'll be like, no, like trainings, those are so boring. I promise Yelp trainings are great. Like they're there to set you up for success. They're basically just teach you everything about Yelp and the tools that you're going to be working with, and everything you need to know about Yelp. And even a year and a half in, I still go back to those trainings when I forget how to do something. So they're great. And then you're going to be working on your first few tickets that those are based on your team, on which team you're on, and what projects they're working on. But they're basically some small tickets that you're going to be get to work on so that you can get familiarized with the workflow of the team and the projects they're working on. And the last step, which is my favorite step and the most fun, it's getting involved and having fun. Because Yelp really cares about making everyone feel like they're welcome, like they belong, uh, and to get people to interact not just with your team, but with everyone at Yelp. So there's going to be a bunch of events. For example, the IRL, which is when I got to fly over to Toronto and meet my team in real life, and I got to work with him in the Yelp office for around a week, and that's when that picture was taken. Um, and then also, for example, we have Hack Weeks where we get to forget a bit about the project we're working on and just work on some fun projects. Or there's even like baking events or arts and crafts events, or there's like a reading club. So there's a bunch of different type of events that are happening at Yelp so that people cannot just come to Yelp to work, but actually to grow, learn, communicate, and meet other people. So that's pretty fun. And then there's also some Slack channels so that you can be talking with other people, which my favorite channel, it's the Doggies Lounge channel where people get to share pictures and videos of their dogs. So that channel always brightens up my day because it's really nice, it's really fun. And yeah, that's like a really quick and short overview of the onboarding process. Thank you for being here, for listening, and hopefully you do take the chance and the opportunity to apply to Yelp because I promise it's gonna be worth it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lucia, for sharing that with us. Now, I do have a couple questions for Fernando and or Lucia. So I'm gonna focus all y'all back here. Let's see, at Spotlight. And there's Fernando at Spotlight. Okay. So I want to talk about a favorite memory that really any like the moment that you felt like you actually belonged at Yelp. Does anything come to mind, or was there, maybe like a specific feeling or specific situation that was like, oh my gosh, I'm I'm good. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is fabulous.
I can take a
Fernando,
crack
you
at
want to go
that,
first?
Alicia. Um, Honestly, I think that happens so often. So I'll pick kind of one of the latest ones more than my first. But I think for me, it was, I remember I sat down with a product manager who was my old manager actually, and I was in business operations at the time. And I disagreed with him on like, whether or not we should launch this product and feature. And I didn't understand product very well at the time. So I was coming in from a numbers perspective. Ran the numbers didn't make sense. We still ended up launching it, and I was learning a lot more about that. A few months later, coincidentally enough, that same product manager that I was meeting with ended up being my manager when I moved to product. And I think we became full circle of like, you really like the people who are there, and I think at first it comes off as like, oh, we're debating it, but like they really do love and care you and want you to grow. So I think we took the time to really understand that project, and I think it meant the world that this new manager that I had so much animosity for. I was like, no, we debated this and I lost. Like, I'm never gonna love you. And like, I fell in love with my manager like 2 days in. So I think it was an opportunity for people to care enough to like teach you these small things and really push you. And you don't have to ask them for it, right? People are always looking out in your best interest. People are pushing you to be better. I think that that's what makes kind of Yelp that amazing place.
I love that. Lucia, how about you? I think this is one of those questions that I think is really important. If nothing comes to mind, that's okay. I've got more, but I want to make sure we don't skip you.
Yeah, no, no, it's fine. Actually, one thing that made me feel like everyone was very united and that I belong to the team is that in my first team, because I was first on the attribution team, uh, they had this really fun activity. We still have it every Friday. We'd get together and play board games. So at first I was very nervous, like, oh my God, like what am I like? I'm not even that into board games. Like, how is it gonna go? Uh, and this is really like simple activity that I thought I was gonna hate because I didn't really like board games. Turned out to be like the best part of my week. I always look forward to that like happy hour that we have because it really brought us together and it made me feel like I was not just part of like a team at work, but they felt more like a family or a group of friends that I got to hang out with. And that was actually very fun. And once I moved to a new team, since we had like I still wanted to keep going to the happy hours. They were like, let's just join the both teams for happy hours. So people are like very welcoming and be like, yeah, like everyone together, like that's what makes it so fun and feel like, oh, like that's nice that even though I'm not actually part of the team anymore, I still feel part of the team. So that's what makes it like really nice. And like I belong at Yelp.
Wonderful. All right, my next question I'm giving to Lucia. I'm going to take you first.
Mhm.
What surprised you most about joining Yelp?
Um, Actually the culture, because I've heard about a bunch of other people working at other places and they were like, yeah, I just go there and work and that's it. But Yelp is not that type of company. Like they really care about everyone, about making you feel like you're part of something and not just an employee. And everyone at Yelp shares that like that value of making everyone feel included. So when I saw all of these like different type of events that are there for people to feel like they belong, that I was so impressed because I've never heard of a company caring that much about their whole team.
That's very heartening to hear. All right, Fernando, how about you? Has there been anything that really surprised you since joining Yelp?
Um, I'll take that, and then I'll take also one of the questions I see in the chat. I think what surprised me is like in a remote first company where a lot of tech companies are coming back, and the in presence and that in person thing is like very real. And our current CEO has said like, hey, you don't have to be in an office. I think we found a way to really build that community and that love for each other, whether it not be those like mini happy hours or kind of hangouts and board games. I look forward to like our once a year in real life meetings. Like we all look forward to this, and we all get together, and it's like you work together, you plan different things together. Like we had a paper plane competition at the office 2 weeks ago, and I did not build a plane. I built a paper ball. Key, you don't have to build a
Did
plane
you
if you
win?
don't we hit it. We hit a lamppost. We lost it at the qualification. It was crazy, but I think these moments of like kind of like really camaraderie and excitement from coworkers to just friends, I think is what makes it great, right? I don't fear that in a remote environment I'm missing out on anything because Yelp finds a way to really make sure to really train you appropriately. You build all these different learning plans that you can use to really grow yourself up, build the mentorships, and also have the opportunity to continue to have each other around as much as you need it and want it.
I love that. Very, very cool. And thank you for grabbing some of these questions from the chat. I really appreciate it. Y'all are seriously doing so much of my job today. It's fabulous. All right. Let's see, one more question. How do you stay connected with teammates? We kind of answered that one. Remote work possible anywhere in the world. All right. Yeah, I think we mostly got these answered. All right, let's keep moving. So next slide, we're going to go into the technical interview process. So Swati Aurora is going to talk us through this. Swati, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience today?
Yes, thank you, Meg, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Swati, and I'm a senior technical sourcer with Yelp. I'm a part of Yelp's tech talent recruiting team, and I help our engineering and business technology orgs in North America find great talent just like all of you here today. I've been in Yelp for the last 4 years, and I'm based out of Toronto, and I'm really excited to walk you through Yelp's interview process. And I want to start by saying that our process is designed to make you shine. Because at Yelp, we are committed to making every interview supportive and inclusive to empower you. So we make sure we provide you clear information, personalized support, and all the resources you will need so you feel confident, prepared, and connected at every step of your journey with us. And while we want to see your technical strengths in action, we also want you to get to know Yelp, our culture, our values, and what makes this place where you can thrive and grow. Lucia and Fernando has already spoken so much about our culture, but yeah, if you find a role that matches your skills and interests, the step one is the application. There are two ways to go about it. First, you can start by applying directly through Yelp's career page. It's a quick and straightforward process. There's a QR code here if you like to scan. Alternatively, if a recruiter reaches out to you, all you need to do is reply to express your interest and share your updated resume. And our team will guide you through the next step, which is the take-home coding challenge. This is a great opportunity for you to let your technical. We have email with
It looks like we might be having some technical difficulties with Swati. So apologies, y'all. Please bear with us here. We really appreciate it. While we are working on getting Swati back, we can real quick highlight the Yelp company page on powertofly.com. So I do just want to highlight that. If you are, obviously, there's a lot of stuff we're talking about today that is going to interest you in Yelp. And I do see there's people checking out Yelp's company page on powertofly.com. If you are looking for roles, do not forget that, but we're also going to be sharing links to Yelp's internal pages as well. So if you are curious and you want to hear more about Yelp, you want to make sure that you don't miss out on potential upcoming opportunities. What I recommend is you go into Yelp's page on powertofly.com. You smash the follow button. It's pink. It's at the top of every company page. If you're not seeing it, it's because you're not logged into powertofly.com. But what you're going to do is you're going to tap that follow button. It's going to allow Power to Fly to tell Yelp that you are interested in working with them even before you fill out an application. So this is an excellent, excellent choice if you are actively seeking new employment, but don't see anything that's perfect for you to apply to right this second. All right. So that's a great start. The other thing it's going to allow is it's going to allow Power to Fly to keep Yelp on your radar because when they post new roles, we will tell you. So that way you don't have to keep coming back and checking and rechecking and basically memorizing job boards. Now, while we are waiting on the Yelp team to come back and finish up our application and kind of onboarding process and hear what that's like. I do really appreciate y'all checking out those roles. I do hear a bunch of people are interested in roles outside of Canada, totally understandable. And just keep searching as well as make sure you smash that follow button so you don't miss out on roles that might come up when when they're expanding in different areas. Let's see here. All right. We got really great questions coming in the chat thread, y'all. I'm grabbing all of these. So if you have questions, please feel free to send them in. If you see anything that's in the chat that you are also curious and would like to know the answer, give us a like or a thumbs up or something on those questions, so that way we'll know that that's something that you are interested in doing. All right. Let's see. So Swati's not able to connect with us. So why don't we move ahead and we will go talk to Eileen Harboat about resume and application tips. Eileen, apologies for putting you on the spot there, but I'm going to bring you up on stage. Or sorry, Ellen, my bad, not Eileen. Sorry, y'all, I misread. But Ellen's going to come up on stage and talk a little bit more about what the resume and application tips look like. So Ellen, apologies. Hopefully I didn't pull you up too quickly here. But thank you so much for your flexibility.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Meg. I hope Swati is still able to connect because I know she had some awesome information to share with you all. I'm Ellen. I'm the Tech Recruiting Manager for Engineering North America, and I'm super excited to talk about resume and application tips today. We will be going over some resume examples together, and we would love to hear from you. We're going to ask you some questions to which we have posted some answers, and we will be opening up a poll. Simply pick the answer that you feel is the most correct to that question. There are no bad answers here, I promise. And then after each poll, we will reveal your answer, then reveal our answer and discuss together. And before we dive into these examples, I do want to point out I've only used AI-generated resumes. So you will see some very funky and full of spelling errors, mistakes in those resumes. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. All right, let's go to our first question here. What should not go on your resume? Deciding what to put and what not to put on your resume is a really tough exercise. And you may have heard that for a lot of there's an expectation that you keep your resume to one page. We don't care so much about length here at Yelp. Mostly we care about that your resume is concise and that it lists all the right elements on there. And by right elements, I mean that everything that you put on your resume should have a clear purpose. So keeping that in mind, let's go back to our first question. What should not go on your resume? We will open up the poll right now. Oh, it's really exciting to see all these answers come in. If you haven't yet, you still have time to answer, so go for it. There's no wrong answers. Any last minute people that want to take a stab at it? Okay, well, I think we can end the poll and share our results. Awesome. So it seems like the majority of you said all of the above. Well, let's go to our next reveal here. You are correct. But if you picked any of the answers above, technically you are also correct. So great job. But yeah, I do want to acknowledge that resumes look so different per country. I myself moved from Belgium in Europe to the US and was really surprised at how many differences there are. So for today, I'm going to focus mostly on what is standard for the US, and please look at it from that perspective. So what should not go on your resume? It is common for US to only list the basic contact information. So your name, your email, LinkedIn profile if you have it, maybe a phone number. There's really no need to post your marital status, your full mailing address, or any identification numbers on there. What we love to see is that you post your experience and your education in chronological order with the most recent experience on top, because that allows hiring teams to really follow along and notice what you've done last, which is really the most instrumental for your next position. We definitely recommend for engineering profiles that you list your technical skills and technologies that you've used on there as well. So things like Python, Unix, those are really helpful to see. And then finally, a little summary on top can be really beneficial. In that summary, you can highlight your years of experience, your main areas of expertise, and sometimes also make your intent clear. For instance, full stack engineer with 10 years of experience, looking for an engineering manager position, makes it really clear to the hiring team what your experience is and what you are looking for. All right, that was our first example. That wasn't too bad, right? Let's move on to our next example. How important is it to tailor your resume? And by tailor, we mean that you make small changes to your resume based on the job that you apply for. Let's open up the poll, see what you think. right. Seeing a lot of very good answers come in. Awesome. I think we can close the poll out because you all seem to know exactly what you're doing, which doesn't surprise me at all. We can share. Awesome. So yeah, as you guessed, it is important, and that is how we feel about it here at Yelp as well. We definitely recommend that you customize your resume for each job that you apply for. And the easiest way to get started is by taking a deeper look at our job descriptions. So I pulled an example here on the left that's from our entry-level full stack engineering position. And you can see that I've, in a not so subtle way, highlighted some of the areas that are worth a deeper look, especially the areas that we post under what you'll do and what it takes to succeed, offer rich information that you can help incorporate into your resume. And that will make it very easy for hiring managers to kind of cross-check against the job that we are looking, or the job that we are looking to fill, and see those exact things listed on your resume. But even in the areas that that are listed above, things like develop highly performant APIs on the back end or develop applications at scale, you can still find things that are really helpful to incorporate. And this will all make your resume stand out even more amongst the others that we receive. Great. Well, that was our second example. Let's move forward to our next and final example. How to make your resume stand out. Well, we've already seen in the previous examples that there's a lot you can put or not put on your resume that will make it stand out already. But there are still some small enhancements that you can make that will lead to really big results. And we posted some of those examples here today. I'm curious, what do you think will make your resume stand out even more? We'll open the poll right now. Ooh, I'm seeing a bit of doubt on this one. Don't be shy. As I mentioned, there are no bad answers. All right, I think we can close this one out and share the results. Well, it seems like my learning here is done because, as you all guessed, it is indeed all of the above. So congratulations if you picked that option or any of the ones above, because you are technically also correct. Great work. And I do want to kind of point out the first ones listed here, which says quantify experience and accomplishments. That one might be a little more tricky to understand what we mean by that. So I put an example here on the left, circled some of those quantifiable experiences. For instance, improved system performance by 25% by optimizing database queries, or automated testing resulting in 30% decrease in bugs. That means for us, when we look at your resume, that we can really understand what your ownership and contributions to your past projects were and how it impacted the company or the team that you worked on, which is really cool to see and really helps you stand out amongst other resumes. So yeah, I hope that the resume tips that we gave today helped you get a better understanding of what to put, what not to put on your resume, and also what the hiring team is looking for when they are resume screening. And with that said, I hope you had a blast, just like I did. I'll hand it back over to Meg.
Thank you, Ellen. I am getting questions from people wanting to know, people are having to drop and they want to get the recording. Those will be going out next week. So thank you for the question, especially if you just joined us. You're absolutely welcome to come, rock in and stick around for the rest of the event. So thank you so much for joining. All right, now I've got some questions for Ellen. Let's see, it looks like we do have Swati back. Swati, did you want to go through and give us the rest of your section?
Yeah, of course. I'm really sorry I got disconnected. There was some internet issues, but I'm back.
You're
And we can go back to talking about our interview process and start with the coding challenge. So I was just wanting to say that once we have reviewed your resume, you get an email with a coding challenge link from us. And this email includes all the resources that would make you feel prepared and supported. So, for example, there's a link to a practice test that can help you get more comfortable with the platform. Then it also includes some helpful tips, links to our interview process, and other resources that can help you explore what it's like to work at Yelp. Additionally, there is a link to our accommodations resource, which outlines how Yelp can support candidates with diverse needs throughout the process. And if you would like some tips on preparing for the coding challenge, stay tuned. Our amazing engineer Julio will be sharing them with you in some time. But moving on, after you pass the coding challenge, you will get to talk with a recruiting partner. This is a great chance for you to learn more about the team, the role, and ask any questions that you may have. Depending on the role, the conversation might happen at a different stage, but throughout the process, your recruiter is your main point of contact. They're there to offer you support and advice tailored to your needs. We know that interviews can be daunting. Many candidates come to us feeling nervous about system design or problem solving interviews, and then they reach out to the recruiters in these situations. Our recruiters have helped candidates reviewing the prep material together, discussing previous projects, and sharing tips on what our interviewers look for in responses. And to be honest, time and again, candidates tell us that this partnership made a real difference and they felt supported and more confident. So we encourage everyone to make most of this partnership. Our recruiters are true experts. They're there to help you succeed. And speaking of our team, we have some pictures here from our recent in-person meetup in Toronto and San Francisco. I have to say we are a close-knit group and I feel lucky to work alongside such talented and caring teammates. Everyone here goes extra mile to support our candidates and each other. I genuinely love working with all of them. I know you will feel the same positivity and support as you go through our process. I could keep talking about my team, but let's move on and let's talk about what happens when you get connected with a recruiting partner. After that comes the first round interview, which could be a technical or a non-technical interview depending on the role. But to make sure you're set up for success, we provide you with detailed interview prep resources that our recruiting team has thoughtfully created for you so that you have the guidance you need to do your best. These resources outline what to expect at every interview stage, what interviews are looking for, and how to demonstrate your strengths. These resources are easily available on our career page, and we also have QR code here. You can easily scan that to explore more. But once you are a part of the interview process, your recruiter will also directly send them to you with pro tips ahead of the time to prepare. And after a successful first round, the next step is the panel interview. This round has 4 back-to-back one-on-one interviews. 3 of them will focus on technical topics like system design and problem solving, and the 4th one is a behavioral round about collaboration. Again, we'll provide you with all the interview prep material prior to the interview so that you can feel ready. And finally, if everything goes well and your interview feedback looks positive, you will receive an offer to work with Yelp. We've already heard Lucia's amazing onboarding story, so I'll not get into details, but I would just say that your manager and a dedicated mentor will make sure you have all the tools, resources to support you and help you succeed from day one. So yeah, that's our process in a nutshell. We definitely believe great talent deserves great experience, and that's exactly what we aim to provide. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you all.
Thank you, Swati. All right, we do have some good questions. So we got about 5 minutes of those. My first question is this person wanted to know what advice would you give to be successful during the hiring process with Yelp? Obviously, this is a big question, but let's see. Ellen, you're kind of smiling and chuckling, so why don't we go to you first?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Definitely a good question. So thank you for asking it. I think there's a couple of different ways that you can set yourself up for success. I think familiarizing yourself with the interview process, which you all just did, so you're already ahead, is really a good way to set yourself up for success. We really care a lot about authenticity here at Yelp. It's actually one of our values. So bring yourself. I know it sounds really easy to do, but what it also means is that you're not afraid to ask questions and really figure out if Yelp is the right fit for you, which is equally as important as the other way around. So keep that in mind moving forward. Coming prepared with some questions for our interviewers and really understanding what it is like to work here at Yelp. I think it always leaves a good impression to our interviewers. And then last but not least, I think work, as Swati mentioned, work with your recruiter, ask them some questions. What is this round about? What can I expect here? We're here to help you navigate through it. Oftentimes recruiters are seen as folks that are just involved with setting up all the different steps of your process, but they're also here to help answer questions and to help you prepare. So lean on them. I think that's really something that can help you set up for success too. But I'm sure Swati has some other great stuff I didn't think of, so I'll hand it off to her.
No, Ellen, you covered everything. I would just add to everything that you said. Be authentic, take the help from your recruiter. They're there to help you. And I often get asked by a lot of people that how do I make an impact during the interview? So I just tell everyone that practice explaining your experience in a structured STAR format, that is situation, task, action, and result. Briefly describe the context and background, explain the challenge or responsibility you have faced, outline the specific steps you took, share the outcome and what you have learned and achieved. It helps interviewers quickly understand what you actually did in your role and what impact it had, as it keeps your answers focused and clear. It also ensures, that your key contributions aren't missed and gives the interviewer specific examples to evaluate against the role requirements. So yeah, definitely just go for it, practice and understand the interview process, take help and ask questions. That's the key. Just ask questions if you have doubt.
Love it. Great advice, both from Ellen and Swati. Thank you so much. All right, y'all, we're going to keep moving along so we stay on task and get through everything on our schedule today. So we're going to talk to Julio about demystifying the coding challenge. And this is the part where a lot of people get scared. I totally understand that the words coding challenge sound scary to me. But Julio is going to tell you a little bit about why it's maybe not quite such a dire situation. Julio, would you like to introduce yourself to the group before you tell us a little bit more about the coding challenge?
Sure, Mike. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I'm Julio Barrera. I'm from Mexico City, and I started as an iOS developer here at Yelp, but now I'm doing a lot of backend on my day on. I studied mathematics at UNAM and computer engineering at Tutel. Also, before working, this is a fun fact, before working as a software engineer, I was a middle and high school teacher. And yeah, I want to give this talk because when I was given the opportunity to discuss how to help people prepare to Yelp interviews, I knew right away that I wanted to focus on coding interviews. From my own experience, I wasn't very familiar with this kind of questions before joining Yelp, especially since in Mexico, companies don't use this style of interview as often. But because I really wanted to work at Yelp, I knew that it was a major tech company from Silicon Valley, so I was sure they will ask this type of questions. So what I'm sharing today is a combination of what I learned and research while preparing for an interview at Yelp. And it was really helpful for me, and I hope it will just as helpful for you. Oh yeah, sorry. So as I mentioned earlier, the coding challenge is an important part of your technical interview process. Sometimes we think these questions are only meant to see if you can just solve the problem, but that's not completely true. Of course, solving the challenge is great, but we are also evaluating your problem-solving skills, how you write code, and how you think and communicate under time pressure. It's important to practice how you communicate your thought process, explain your choices as you work, and adapt to the hints or feedback that the interviewer is giving you. Remember, the interviewer isn't just there just to watch you solve the problem. They can also ask questions and help you if you feel stuck in the problem. Something really important is preparation is key. And one way to build confidence is to repeat the strategies I will show you today and do coding exercise as often as you need. Practice under realistic conditions, try to mock interviews with friends or use online tools. I think something like an AI agent can act as an interview for you. Also make sure you to study or refresh your knowledge of data structures and algorithms and review the company's specific interview formats. Don't hesitate to ask your recruiter for advice or materials, like it mentioned before. They may have resources to help you to prepare for the interview process. So without further delay, the main topic for today is a framework that I found really helpful for this type of coding challenge questions. This framework is called Reacto, and it's an acronym for R, repeat the question, E, examples, A, approach, C, code, T, test, and O, optimize. So this is going to be a framework that we are going to use as a step-by-step framework. So we are going to start with a practical problem. I think that's going to help us, everyone, to get a little context. This problem is really short and really easy. The problem is, given an array of integers, nums, and integer target, return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to the target. So the first step, it's going to be repeat the problem. That's really important to do in your own words first, because it's going to give you maybe some hints of some edge cases that you are thinking when you are talking about the problem. Also, it will help the interviewer that you really understand the problem. So it's really important, this first step. I think that maybe it's the most important step, because that's going to give you all the information that you will need to start to really start the code. So please confirm always or ask clarifying questions if you think about edge cases. That's important. So in this case, for this problem, I will say, okay, when we have an array as an input, I need two pairs of numbers that if I add them up, I need to give us a result, the target. And I need to return the indices, not the numbers. That's really important, what they are asking you as the output. So for the next step is examples. This is pretty easy. Before you even start to code, please give some examples. In this case, you can give an array of numbers, positive numbers in this case, and put the output that you are expecting. So in this case, we have these two examples. And if you will ask your interviewer, is that the case that you are correcting, understanding also the problem? And also, this is important, handle tricky or edge cases. In this case, for this example, ask if they are just going to be numbers or they could be any other type of objects. Also think about if the array is going to be empty, something like that. So that's the important thing, that you think of all the edge cases that you think of, because that will help you for your actual code. So for the next step, it's going to be the approach. Now you are going to think out loud and explain your reasoning, discuss the trade-offs. So in this case, you will start to think and figure out how you are going to solve this problem. So in this case, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I will need a dictionary, sorry, where I'm going to start to fill the numbers and the indices, and then with those, I can do a complement for each iteration on the array. And then I will see if the complement it's already being saved in my dictionary. If that's the case, I know that there are two numbers. If that's okay, if the interviewer is giving you some hints, maybe you failed something about it, you can discuss it, but that's the important part. Also, discuss the trade-offs. How is it going to take if this is a space complexity? You will need to to also think about that, the space complexity or how it's going to run in this case. So for the next one, it's going to be code. Now, if you see, you are not going to just go and start to code. You do all these steps. So now that you have a clear way on how you are going to tackle, you are going to code. So in this case, you are just going to write, and you are going to translate your plan into code, and you are going to narrate all the steps that you are doing in your code. Explain each part for writing and pointing out if you see any issue on the code, or ask the interviewer if that's okay. Because sometimes when you are actually writing, you notice that maybe the approach that you are doing, it's not the best. So that's also a good time to start to ask some questions to the interviewer. Yeah, finally, you are going to do the test. And yeah, most of the time you are going to have a battery of tests that you will need to pass. And yeah, also check for edge cases, show that the code correctly handles all cases. And also it's an important part that you need to pass all the test cases most of the time. Don't worry, this framework also iterates over it. So if you fail in some tests, you can reach again to your approach and start to code again. So this is something that you can do. And for the last part is the optimization of the code. If you find that maybe your code is not the best optimal solution, that's the time that you can do. Sometimes it's easier to start to do that as the first, as like a naive approach of the solution, and then you can iterate to a better solution. So also discuss with your interviewer the efficiency and the alternatives of your code. And also briefly mention if you see any improvements. Even if you don't, you can finish to code them. Always is important to say them, because that will help you also for the evaluation. And yep, I think for other useful tips, like I mentioned before, be mindful of the time space complexity. Watch out for inefficient solutions. Most of the time, the best solutions are going to be on the ON, maybe log N, something like around that. If you have an N square, that's something that maybe you will need to watch out. Most of the time, you will transform your data from an array to a dictionary, something like that, to a graph, etc. Choose wisely your data structure. Sometimes you will think that maybe a tree is going to help you, but even a dictionary is going to be easier. So always think about that. And as mentioned before, communicate your thought process. That's really important. I think that's the most important part of this interview. Don't panic if you get stuck. That's something that the interviewer can help you. Write always clean code. Do your variables correctly, name them correctly. Your functions also, that's also important, and that's something that we evaluate. And like I mentioned, always test your code before you finish. And yeah, some as final resources, I put here some resources. Ones are from Yelp, others that some resources that I use. HackerRank, that's the platform that we use. Have fun with doing code challenges. Advent of COVID, it's a good way to start to have fun with code challenges, because they are like small challenges that every year are on December. So it's a really cool site. And yeah, as the book Cracking the Code Interview, I think everyone recommends that book. And the Lead Code Interview Crash Course, that's something that I took before I joined Yelp. It really helped me a lot. So yep, I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julio. That was a really, really great kind of peek inside the coding challenge, demystifying it a little bit, so a little bit less scary, hopefully, for people. All right, we've got 2 minutes left. So I do want to make sure that we are ending on time today. But Julio, if you have like a second, I do want to try and get through maybe a couple of these. Are there any personal tips that helped you to tackle coding challenges differently or more confidently than you had before?
Yeah, I think what I mentioned, a friend that has have more experience on doing this code challenge helped me a lot. He even showed me this React framework, and we go through interviews, like mocking interviews, and that I think that helped me a lot because it gave me the confidence that I needed for the interviews. So yeah, I think always practice a lot, and yeah, try to use like an AI agent or a frame that will help you a lot.
I like this. My other question is, how important is it to explain your thought process, like out loud, while you're solving the problem?
I think it's really important because sometimes you think you made it, you know what you are going to do, and when you say aloud how you are going to approach it, you see that maybe there's going to be a flaw in your code, or the interviewer is going to ask you about your approach and something that you didn't think about it. So maybe you assume a lot of things from what it's giving as the code challenge, and you need to be mindful that you have always really clear what it's the purpose of the challenge, and if maybe there's some edge cases that you didn't think, and that's normal. Every engineer is going to say I never write the best solution the first time. I need to iterate over my code. So for this code challenge, that is going to happen also. So that's why it's important to always communicate your thought process.
Excellent. I love this, Julio. Thank you so much. All right, y'all, we are going to round things out. So if I can get to the next slide, I want to highlight one more time Yelp's company page on powertofly.com. So this is what it looks like. I want to highlight that pink button that says follow. It's right under where it says Yelp. If you, we're going to be sharing the link to this page in the chat thread, but you can also you can check out the QR code that's at the bottom of the slide in front of you. That'll also take you to Yelp's page. Basically, from here, this is where you can get more info. I also very highly recommend people check out these pages before they interview with the companies, because there's some really great content in here that is created specifically by and for Power to Fly for these companies. So these are really great ways and great places to go do some research, so that way you can, maybe have some different things to ask questions about than everybody else who might have come from, wherever else applications wise. So I very much recommend it. The other thing you can find on here besides, places to research, there's information about like company benefits are here. There's also links to where you can sign up for upcoming events that Yelp has scheduled. They're one of our fabulous partners. So I sincerely hope that even if this was your first event with Power to Fly, it will not be your last. The last thing I want to do is say a massive thank you to the Yelp team. Y'all absolutely crushed this. We very much love working with the Yelp team. So thank you all so much, not just for your performances today, but for taking the time to prepare for this. We really are honored. So thank you to the entire Yelp team. Last but not least, massive thank you to our audience members. Now, I love that you came to this event, not just because, it means I have a job. I love that you came to this event because you just took 60 minutes out of your day to do something positive for yourself and your career. That is not easy. So whether you are a little treat person or not, listen to Meg, okay? Give yourself the gold star, pat on the back, cup of coffee, maybe check out Yelp to find your local coffee spot. But truly, y'all, give yourself that little treat, all right? Now go out and have the day, week, weekend, that you deserve. And really excited to see how many Power to Fly success stories might come from today's event. So thank you again so much for spending time with Power to Fly and Yelp today. We are incredibly honored to have gotten even a fragment of your time, and we cannot wait to see you again soon.